YouTube, Hairy Trucker here. It is Thursday morning, just gone 8:30. Got my truck back today from the mechanics. Basically what happened yesterday is all the lights went crazy. The headlights and the tail lights and all the side marker lights started turning on and off of their own accord. And as it was a pretty miserable day yesterday and it's pretty dark and dank, I didn't really want to risk driving it with lights going crazy, so I dumped it around the mechanics and told them to sort it out, which they did, although they thought they did, and I went all the way up there again yesterday afternoon to go pick this up, and it started doing it again straight away, so they had to rethink. They reckon they found out what the problem was and have sorted it out, and it all seems alright now, so fingers crossed. It's a nice sunny day, not too cold today either actually. 11.6 degrees already. As you can see, I've got my new hat cam. You might have seen I did a little video yesterday afternoon of how I made it, or I didn't really make it, I just stuck some Velcro on a cap, but same difference. I actually did attempt at sewing the Velcro on myself. Let's just say I'm never going to be a tailor. Pretty poor my effort of sewing, I must admit. But I haven't actually done it since I left school, which was quite some time ago. So I don't think I did too badly. I did stab my finger. I can see why people wear thimbles now. So hopefully the camera won't fall off halfway through. I think you might be a bit squiggly, like bent, because I forgot to test the angle, so you might be on a bit of a lean, but maybe if I lean my head the other way it'll kind of balance it out a bit. You have to forgive me for that one. I'll try and sort it out for the next one. So anyway, today I'm on my way to Hereford. Got a job there, and then that's pretty much it really. Oh, excuse me. I've got one in Gloucester, which is just going to be really quick. So yeah, not a very busy day again. Well, I think I might stop off in Starbucks on the way up in Ross-on-Wye. So I'm feeling pretty knackered. But at least I'm not angry today. That's one good thing. Well, not yet anyway. There's always room for that to change. Just coming into Ross-on-Wye now. And I really want that little tractor thing that's in front of us. I don't know what it is. But it looks cool and I want it. Massive great wheels on it. Oh, really, yeah. I'm definitely going to stop in Starbucks if there's somewhere to park. Hopefully there is. Wake me up a little bit, I hope, because I'm yawning like a good one here. go. Nice little dinky spot for me. I'll be back in a minute. Oh, that's hitting the spot. I usually get the Pike Place filter coffee from Starbucks. Sometimes it's obviously not been brewed enough and it's a bit weak, but this is spot on. Chucking it everywhere, mind. I've got to take this in, so I filled up one of their cups and it's ever so slightly bigger than this one, so I always got to drink a bit before I put the lid on. Otherwise it goes everywhere like that. These are great, these cups. Needs a wash though. Rid of that. Right. We're fueled up and ready to go. Nice to see somewhere that actually has proper HGV parking. There's very few places that do. I've been watching a lot of other driving vlogs, mainly in America, Ali Knight and Trucker Josh and all those kinds of folks, and it's just amazing how completely different America is to Britain. I mean, America has great long straight roads that stretch for miles and miles and miles. They've got truck stops everywhere, they've got weighbridges everywhere, and it's just complete contrast to the UK or Britain as a whole, really. Oh, that was good timing, that. Been interesting. Never been stopped in that one before, and I don't really want to be. Not that there's anything wrong with the truck or with anything else, I just don't want to have my time wasted in there for 40 minutes. So yeah, as I was saying, the difference in America, I mean, in the UK there are truck stops, but they're few and far between, and they're mainly like the major motorway services, which to be honest are pretty disgusting at the best of times. But in the US it appears that there's kind of dedicated truck stops just for truckers, with proper facilities and shops and, you know, your coffee and buy all your supplies and all this kind of thing. There's just hardly anywhere like that in the UK. Your choices, if you're a tramper in the UK, or what they call a over-the-road driver in the US, is a lay-by or a motorway service station. There are a couple of cafes around that have truck parking as well on some of the kind of more major roads, but again they're a bit, I won't say they're bad, but they're just kind of, they're not designed for that purpose really. They're kind of just been made to fit the purpose. Things like petrol stations. A petrol station might have maybe 1 or 2 HGV pumps for diesel. You know, so if you've got a couple of lorries in there, the diesel pumps are in use, so you get a couple more and they've got to sit and wait, and there's nowhere really for them to wait, so it just backs up all the traffic, and within 10 minutes you've got utter chaos. Whereas in the US, it seems that they've got massive great petrol stations or gas stations, and everyone's happy because there's room for everyone to go about their business. I do wonder how an American trucker would fare over here with these little narrow twisty roads. Obviously our trucks are a lot smaller than theirs are, but even so, I think some American truckers have probably never seen a corner in their life, judging by all the straight roads they got over there. It's just weird how it's the same job, but it's completely different at the same time. I must say it does look quite fun being a over-the-road driver in America though. I think I'd quite enjoy that if I didn't have family to worry about and a house and a mortgage. But I can see the attraction, that's for sure. Another thing that seems to come across on some of these other trucker videos in the US is that it seems like truck drivers are a lot more accepted over there. There's the old term knights of the road. I don't know if they have that in America as well, but it used to be used here in the UK quite a lot, and it basically meant truck drivers were like the top cream, you know, the top tier of drivers, and everyone respected them and appreciated them. And watching the other videos, it seems like truck drivers are still respected and kind of valued. Car drivers don't hate them and want them off the road, and they're well catered for. Whereas in the UK, it's pretty much completely the opposite. Everyone hates truck drivers, everyone hates trucks. No towns or cities want trucks anywhere near them. I mean, I think it's got to be down to space. I think America's so much bigger, there's just more space for everybody, and you know, America's a lot younger country, so I think it's kind of more designed with infrastructure in mind and room for everybody to do what they've got to do, whereas Britain is mainly medieval and Roman. Like even the roads today still follow Roman roads, and obviously they only had horses and carts back then. They weren't built for big vehicles, and that comes apparent when I'm driving this. This isn't a very big lorry at all yet. Still I'm scraping my mirrors down the hedges on a major road, just because the road's simply not wide enough to accommodate this vehicle. I don't know how many truck drivers in America scrape their mirrors down a hedge on a major road. I'm not talking country roads, I'm talking a major road. This, believe it or not, if you're in America, is a major road that I'm on now. This is what we call an A road. We get A roads, B roads, C roads, and motorways. And A roads are like the main connecting roads between cities. Motorways are kind of like bigger, faster. They're like highways, I suppose you'd call them. And then the B roads are the small country roads. And then C roads are even smaller country roads. But it's just weird how in this country everything you buy pretty much guaranteed has been on a truck at some point in its journey. Yet the government and towns and cities and local councils and everybody is desperately trying to get trucks off the road. And yet they don't seem to realise if they do that, then no one's going to ever have anything, because there's no other way of moving stuff in this country. It used to be done through railways and canals, you know, back 100 years ago. But all the railway infrastructure has been ruined and has been privatised and has been dug up. And canals, same thing. They've all been left to disintegrate. You know, it's just not a practical way of moving things nowadays. We're in a a fast age now. You buy something online, you want it the next day or the day after. You don't want to wait for it to be loaded on a canal boat and sail down a canal for 200 miles. There's a big thing in Britain, cyclists and HGV drivers, especially in big cities like London. There's been massive investment trying to get cyclists more safe in London, which is fair enough. But the blame always seems to end up on the truck driver whenever a cyclist gets killed. Which is, yeah, sometimes that is the case. Sometimes the truck driver drives like an idiot and, you know, does something stupid and does kill cyclists. But I mean, there's hundreds of videos on YouTube where cyclists are doing absolutely ridiculous things, putting their lives in danger, and then when they get crushed by a lorry turning left, because the lorry's swung out wide to take the turn, and the cyclist thinks they can nip down the inside. Well, that's not the lorry's fault, I'm afraid. That's the cyclist's fault. But the truck driver will always get the blame, no matter what. Not necessarily legally, not all the time, but certainly morally, and, you know, by the newspapers, by the media. And it's always the truck driver didn't see the cyclist and didn't stop what he was doing. It's never the cyclist didn't appreciate what the truck was doing and risked his own life. Now, I'm a cyclist as well, so don't think by any means that I'm slagging off all cyclists. But I think the emphasis is put far too much on truck drivers taking the initiative of avoiding cyclists. I don't think that there's enough campaigning being done for cyclists to take more notice of truck drivers. I think there should be training given for cyclists. When I was in school, we did the cycling proficiency test. It wasn't mandatory, but it was recommended, and that's how I learned how to ride on the road, really. I mean, no one had ever taught me before then. I'd always ridden on the pavement. Of course, driving in the UK, riding on the pavement in the UK rather, is illegal unless it's a shared space cycle path. I do think they should bring back something like that. It doesn't have to be mandatory, I don't think, but certainly there should be in schools cycling awareness courses and cycling courses. And, you know, a lot of people don't know that HGVs have to swing out to the right to turn left, because, you know, they don't drive one, and some of them don't even drive cars, so they don't appreciate how vehicles need space to move. I don't know how I got onto cyclists from driving in America, but oh well, we did. This is the real life of a UK truck driver. Sat in traffic. This road's always like this. Stupid traffic lights don't help. You need about 5 people through. Truck's gearbox really isn't very helpful for slow crawl traffic like this. I usually put it in manual, semi-manual. Looks like I'm going to be sat here for a little while, so I'll see you later. back from Hereford now. Stopped off at Ross on Wye to go see an old acquaintance. He actually rang me up when I was in Hereford to ask me something, so thought I'd pop in and see how they're getting on. Thankfully both weren't in that lay-by. Looked like they'd opened all the gates up and set all the signs up, but they weren't there yet, so maybe they're driving up and down the motorway pulling people in, I'm not sure. I swear this road gets bumpier every day. Interesting. What is it with Arctics doing crazy things today? There's another one. Like 10 minutes ago, just did a massive crazy manoeuvre like that. Just at Halfords. Hopefully I can park in there, okay? Going in there actually as well, but B&M and the range, it's quite handy for little cleaning things and other random stuff. Don't think I can park in there though. Go sideways. What I mean about not making places for lorries. That'll do. Not going to be long. Just done my customer that I was on my way to, and I was chatting to him, and he mentioned about the new lorry, and he asked me if I had to take a 7.5 ton test. I said no, because I've got Class C, Category 2, whatever you want to call it now, Category C, Class 2. So I can drive anything, any rigid. As long as I'm not towing a trailer, I can drive it. And he said that one of his mates has worked for a company and they've been driving 3.5 ton vans and they've just upgraded to 7.5 tonners. And he's got Class C or Category C, rigid. But his company made him take a 7.5 ton test, which I believe is called the C1, I think. And that sounds a little bit strange to me. You were saying that drivers now, after a certain date, have to do the 7.5 ton test before the rigid test, but I don't think that's true. But I don't know, because I've done mine. I don't really keep up to date with what's going on now. I passed my rigid test in 2006, so things may have changed since then, I don't know. But if anyone knows anything about that, I'd be interested to hear, because that sounds crazy, having to take another test before you can go up to a rigid. And why on earth do you need to learn how to drive a 7.5 tonner to then go on to the rigid? It wouldn't surprise me, it's probably about money rather than anything else, but I don't think it's true. I think you might be misunderstood there. I got my stuff in Halfords anyway, 30 quid on cleaning stuff. I bought some Auto Glim stuff and some Maguire's Hot Shine for the tyres, so I might have a whip round with those later. I've got one more job to do on the A38, just sort of halfway between Gloucester and Bristol. I knew that was going to happen, that stuff's going everywhere. The sat-nav's still trying to send me back to Hereford. It hasn't quite figured out that I've been and gone from there. My old Garmin one, if you ignored it for long enough, it would try and guess where you were going and then direct you there. I think I was coming back from Reading or something once, and it kept trying to send me back to Reading, and then it suddenly figured out that actually I didn't want to go to Reading, and then it just randomly rerouted itself back to my depot. I didn't tell it to or anything, it just kind of figured out that's where I was going, which I thought was quite clever. And the TomTom hasn't quite got the hang of that yet. Another quite amusing thing that happened last night, actually, when I was watching Bake Off. I tweeted yesterday afternoon because my wife ordered some shopping from Ocado and some shopping from Tesco's, because we can only get the dog food that we use from Ocado, and she likes to buy the food from Tesco's, so she orders from both sometimes. Anyway, both vans turned up at the same time, and I jokingly tweeted that all we needed was Iceland to turn up. We'd have the complete class range of supermarkets, from Ocado at the top end and Tesco in the middle and Iceland. And Ocado actually tweeted me back and said they could have a party together, and I jokingly tweeted back, I hope that Peter Andre doesn't turn up from Iceland. And that started off a snowball of Peter Andre song title themed tweets, and that went on for probably about 2 hours throughout the night. Me and Ocado tweeting backwards and forwards Peter Andre song titled themed tweets. I think I won because they actually gave up. I guess their tweeting person went home. It was quite funny. I never realised there were so many Peter Andre songs that I knew. I was having to rack my brain trying to think of some. I wanted to avoid the obvious ones, like Mysterious Girl. They use that one. So I went with some more obscure ones. I think I definitely won. You should go have a look. It's all on my Twitter feed, at Hairy Truck. Ocado customer service obviously had nothing better to do last night than tweet Peter Andre songs at me. Kept me entertained for a few hours though. I think my battery's about to die. Just plugged the cable in, but I don't know if it's going to hold it for very long, so let's just sign off now. Have a good day guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care and goodbye.